Joo. Ei, se nyt on varmaan hirveästi aikaa. Muutaman kuukauden se on hirveästi. Ei se niin kuin tuli lämpöä. Niin kuin se on ollut ihan hirveän. Joo. Ei. Ottaa vähän niin kuin tavallaan. Ihan hirveä juttu.
Aina muistaa sitä jokukanaan olleen. Se on niin kauan.
Ei kuusi nyt ihan loppuun, niin se ei saada.
Vähän lisää. Joo,
Anna kello
Hey! It's always so nice to hear good laughter, but unfortunately, I think we should continue with the program. Actually, this presentation was quite a good introduction to our next theme, the life cycle of artworks. It was so exciting to hear that you could smell tar in Ii again this summer. Unfortunately, I missed that work process, but still, it was one of the artworks that made an impact on me, just by hearing the experiences of people sitting by the fire, eating locals, and how the artist brought in together the history and presence of Ii with his own background. Today we also heard something related to your topic about this artwork that was quite brutally, I think, taken away from the forest and put by the road that Irene told us. And as a perspective from a producer, I think there was very little consideration of the life cycle of the artwork that was communicated with the people who were responsible to be there for the artwork. So this is a good time to introduce Hanna Hannes and Liisa Pulkkinen, who will now speak more about the life cycle of temporary art. Thank you very much.
And thank you for having us here. And thank you for all the other speakers. It's been truly fascinating hearing about what's going on here, what's going on in the whole region. And thank you very much for your very inspiring thoughts.
So my name is Hanna and Lisa Klotter. We come from Helsinki and we represent the Artists Association of Finland, which is the central organization for Finnish Artists Association.
I think we have many members here. You are members of your own association and then thus members of our organization.
So we are not self-artists. And we have a bit different perspective and a bit different like how we started to process this presentation as well.
Because a very practical point of view. That's what we've had for the last couple of years, that we've been working together and together with other organizations on public art and the percentage for art principle here in Finland, promoting the idea.
We have organized trainings and lectures for artists, for instance, for artists and architects. And for instance, we have edited and published this guidebook of the percentage for art principle in Finland, which was published last year. So we have produced a lot of practical information about this issue and also presented it to political decision makers to get more public art in Finland.
And we are quite liberal with the idea of percentage for art, the principle, since we think that our job is to promote public art in general, be it temporary, be it permanent, be it bio art. We just wish to see more public art in Finland.
And of course, more artists engaging in it.
Yes, of course. That's our main goal as an association for artists, is to hope that artists get more commissions.
But to the point and to our theme of today, temporary art by definition is art that is not meant to last. It's works of art that have a planned life cycle. So we often think, do we? Yes. And the theme of today's seminar is materials. And temporary works of art, the reason why they are temporary often is the material, because all materials just are not that's durable. But that's only one of the reasons, so we are going to go through this issue. But temporary art is it's a big discussion in art museums and other art commissioners, because like commissioning temporary art can be a bit different kind of process than commissioning something like art that is not temporary. And that's why we also decided to talk about this aspect, because it's current also among artists in Finland. And also street art, it has become really popular, and also commissioned legal street art, like big murals and so, are discussed a lot in Finland at the moment. And it also has similar kind of issues, because street art materials always aren't that durable either.
And here comes the social media part also, because street art is quite popular on social media, on Instagram, for example. So something that's done quite locally, for example, here in Ii, can become very well known globally.
And so we have basically two questions for this presentation, and those are: what opportunities we see in temporary public art, and what are the best practices for commissioning temporary public art.
But we'll start with something a bit silly. How many of you play Pokemon Go?
Or
you can tell if your kids play it, it's okay. So you've probably seen something like this. A few of you have seen something like this. This is from the game, and this is from Ii. This is a Pokemon Pocket Gym where you battle against other Pokemons. And as you can see, it's spotted in the roundabout here in Ii. And as you see this, you also see public art over there. And we think that, be it silly or be it childish, we think that Pokemon Go is actually a huge opportunity for public art. Because I've learned about new works of art, things I've seen for years, but I can't remember the name of the artist. Here, unfortunately, the name isn't mentioned. And that is something.
In many cases it is.
It is.
Yeah.
You get some information on the artwork. And we are actually seeing our environment, our urban environment and public art through different eyes. And we get so much more information. So I really recommend that. It's nice.
And also, like two megatrends, global megatrends, augmented reality, like Pokemon Go, and also urbanization. We think that those are both global trends that actually they have a lot to do with public space, and of course, if they have a lot to do with public space, they also relate strongly to public art. But our key points today, we will start with some public art examples. Then I will speak about life cycle of temporary art, the best practices for commissioning it.
And I'll talk about social media and communication strategy for temporary art and public art.
And we will end this discussion, end this presentation to one case from Helsinki. And we will hope to hear a discussion from you, but please feel free to ask and interrupt anytime during the presentation. But to take examples, how many of you have seen this work of art? It's in London. I haven't either because it was empty when I visited. Anyway, it's called the Ford Plinth Commission, located on the Trafalgar Square in London. There are 4 statue plinths on the square. 3 of them hold a statue, an older statue, probably from the 18th or 19th century. And the 4th one of them, the one in the northwest corner, was left empty. It was supposed to hold a statue of William IV, but it was left empty because lack of money or something happened. But in 1990s, City of London got an idea to commission a temporary statue, a contemporary one, not a historical one on it. And since 1999, it has approximately every 2 years, the statue has changed. And so it's always a big issue, something new coming up, and it's commissioned by the Mayor of London's culture team. And here you can see 2 examples of how contemporary artists have interpreted the historical place and space and kind of the old statue plinth and the new contemporary work of art together. But yeah, we have also today seen lots of temporary public art examples, so this was just to set to mind what temporary art can be, public art can be. Also, environmental art, like what we have seen a lot today and in Ii, has of course very strong traditions in temporary identity. Just to name one of the most famous examples is Christo and Jean-Claude, who together have been making temporary environmental art or interventions since 1960s. On the right is the Berlin Reichstag, wrapped for 2 weeks from 1995. And how many of you have seen this orange one in pictures? It was in the news in the summertime because Christo made a bridge through the lake in Italy, Lake Iseo, and the work of art is called The Floating Piers. And it was there on display for 2 weeks. But what is interesting about these works, for instance, that I unfortunately didn't visit Berlin in 1995 when this Reichstag was wrapped. And I didn't get a chance to visit Lake Isel in the summer either. But I have seen both of these pictures, these photos, many times online and other also in art history books. So temporary works of art, they might be just 2 weeks there, and lots of people can visit them. As you can see, those tiny spots are people, but still the power of them can be in photos and nowadays in social media.
In social media, and I, for example, discovered this Lake Isel piece through social media. I first saw the pictures on Facebook, somebody was sharing it. And I don't know about you, but you might have also seen it on the news because it was such a huge, big project.
Mm.
But here, social media showed its strength. People who never visited Italy at this point became aware of this.
And I think that also these pictures can change the way people think about places. So they can leave something to one's mind, even though they haven't visited. Seeing a surprising work of art in a surprising place can change the image of the place as well. But we also have a third example, maybe not the famous one yet, about temporary public art can be also big for events. This is from Helsinki this January. There was a Lux Helsinki light art festival, only for 4 days. This is one of the works of art by Maiju Salmenkivi, Ilonkuvia, pictures of joy, projected on the Helsinki Cathedral. The Lux Helsinki festival was only for 4 days, and it was actually, was it the 5th time this year? Yes, and it was developed by the city of Helsinki for tourism. It was a time lots of tourists come to Helsinki,
Especially from Russia, because
came
it's a long
to
way.
Helsinki, and but there was nothing special going on, so they decided to create an art festival, just a short one for some days, to create something for tourists to see. Now the political situation has changed a bit, and there are not so many Russian tourists anymore at the moment, but it has become a very popular event for Helsinki people, ourselves. So temporary art can also make people come to one place.
And in this case, it has become a tradition that Helsinki will continue at least for some years, because the inhabitants of Helsinki truly seem to love it.
Okay, but these examples were to tell about different aspects of temporary public art. But now I'm going to talk about the practical questions. Artists are expensive materials, so I'm not going to talk about the different material types that much, but I start by asking what actually is a temporary work of art in public art. Is what we think about public art is actually what we think about it by default to be eternal. Because it's an interesting question, how long it has to stay in one place to be not to be temporary. Is it 1 day, 1 month? Like we say in the beginning, temporary art by definition is art that is not meant to last. It's art that has planned life cycle. So temporary art is something that has been planned to be temporary. Often when we think about public art, the audience think about public art, it's something like this, you know, a really old statue that has been here for centuries. But public art, actually, I think it's a lot less eternal than is commonly thought. what these famous examples from the history are something that have lasted, but we don't see the ones that didn't last that much. The reasons for this can be the material, for instance. Although what artists have had thought the material might behave in another way than planned. Also, the purpose of the work of art might change. You say, for instance, maybe some public building with a commissioned public artwork might be sold and renovated to a hotel, for instance. What happens to the work of art? It might not feel like the right work of art in that place anymore.
At least in the hotel owner's perspective, but not necessarily artists.
This was a fictional example. Yeah. And place, the nature of the place may change so that the work of art that is place specific might not fit there anymore. And also if a lot of public art is integrated to the architecture, like for instance this percentage for art commissions we have been working with. But also architecture has a life cycle, and also life cycle of architecture is shorter than we maybe tend to think. Nowadays, buildings, the life cycle of buildings can be really short, usually approximately 70 years in a finer buildings, 100 years. So yeah, it's a lot of time, but it's not eternal. It's a long time. But if buildings have a life cycle that is thought, maybe works of art also, we shouldn't think about them as eternal, but something that have a life cycle of maybe 70 years or 100 years or less. Because for the artist, the thought of like the public work of art as an eternal can cause some tricky situations, like problems. Will the work of art, if it's, what will happen to it? The big question is what will happen if it will face the end of its life cycle? Will it be returned to the artist or the family of the artist? Is it sold? Is it demolished? All of this might feel quite bad to the artist if there's something that comes as a surprise for the artist. Like that example was quite sad one about this issue with the what you represented, the schoolyard example. But I want to discuss about what about if the artist already thinks about it in the beginning of the process when the artwork is commissioned. If the artist and the art commissioner together think about it, if the artist can decide what will happen if something will happen. For instance, for instance, is it okay for the artist that the work of art is moved? Maybe if that is agreed on the agreement, so that is something that has been thought, that process has been already before the public work of art is not even at this place, not even started. It has already been thought through. So I think it's always wise to agree on the life cycle, and we have also, as a book. So the book we have made up for Finnish artists agreement, blank public art commission contract, where the life cycle is also one of the points to discuss together with our.
Oh, we didn't do it. It was a lawyer.
Yeah.
So you can trust the
it.
agreement.
That's right.
Yeah, but that's something we will truly recommend for all artists to use and agree on everything, all possible things.
And also I think that it benefits the art commissioner because they're not, most of them, luckily, are experts on art. But then there's no qualification for commissioning art in Finland. You can commission public art even though you don't know much about art. So it's also good for the artist to speak with the commissioner if he or she is not an expert. So these kind of questions might not occur. And also I think that thinking about public art, okay, we make a statue. Will it be eternal? Oh, they're only for 30 years or 3 years. It can lead to new ideas of thinking about what public art can do. Maybe using different kind of materials, for instance. So, that was my point, and I will now give the area to Lisa.
And I'll talk about social media communications strategy for temporary public art, also for permanent public art. Here I have an example from Helsinki. We're sorry that our Finnish examples are from Helsinki. We should visit the north a bit more often. But this is from this summer, that's why I took this example. And it shows actually here with the reactions to this temporary work of art by Ii Kusama. It shows how a few major trends, global trends are working. Firstly, this is something you call event marketing. It's actually there to promote Kusama's exhibition that will be in HAM, in Helsinki Art Museum in October. And it's there, it's a marketing event for Helsinki as well as for the artists, the upcoming exhibition, the art museum, but it's also PR for Helsinki. It's no surprise it's there in the summer when there are the biggest tourist crowds visit Helsinki.
And especially this part.
Yes. And this also shows how something very local and very temporary can become a part of something very global, I think. And this is how it works. The global audiences in this case reach through Instagram. How many of you use Instagram yourselves? I mostly use it to really enjoy other people's pictures, and that's what a lot of us do. And since Kusama is an art world superstar, with her name, with the hashtag Ii Kusama, there are over 200,000 pictures posted on Instagram. And amongst these pictures, there are also pictures, these are the most popular ones at the moment, but there are pictures from Helsinki and pictures from the temporary art that's now at show in Helsinki. And I know you may think that, okay, she's a superstar. It's easy for her to get attention online and in different applications. But if you add to this, if you add the hashtag public art, that's even more popular than Kusama herself. You can see that there are over 500,000 pictures of public art on Instagram. And since Instagram isn't that old, it's only a couple of years old, we can expect that there will be millions of pictures more. And here, using the hashtag public art, this is also an opportunity for very local projects and very local artists to exhibit their work. If you use the hashtag art on Instagram, that's even more popular. It has art had something like 181 million pictures of art. Okay, it may be that somebody uses the hashtag to promote something commercial. they aren't all of the pictures aren't great works of art, of course, and people try to use it for their own purposes. But it's showing that you can reach a global audience these days from Ii or from Helsinki or from anywhere with the same hashtags that are the biggest museums and the biggest galleries and the art world pop stars use at the moment. But still, if you compare, Rihanna, the pop star, has it was something like 15 million followers on Instagram. So even the biggest artists and most popular works of art have a lot of work to do if we wish that they are more visible on the Instagram and other social media. Is visual art going viral? Is it becoming a social media phenomenon? And in a word, I think yes. At least it has huge potential to do so. And that is because most of us have smartphones these days. And thanks to those smartphones, we can get information about works of art on site at the very spot where the public art or a gallery or a museum is. Pokemon Go is one example on how augmented reality is changing the way we see public art and public monuments and spaces. And at the moment, it's no joke, because in the US, it's bigger than Netflix at the moment. It has more people using it than a huge online, a very commercial TV service at the moment. There are 22 million users. But already, Pokemon Go was launched this summer, a month ago or so. And already the internet is raving on about what will be the next Pokemon Go, the next very big phenomena, because they say that Pokemon Go is already losing its popularity. People are getting bored with it. And there is something, for sure, there's something new coming up because of these numbers of users that the game has at the moment. Augmented reality is something that also galleries and museums are using to showcase collections. For example, the gallery Helsinki Contemporary has an app where you can test what a work of art would look like on your own wall at home. So if you wish to purchase art, you can sort of test it first. And I think you've all probably seen art projects using augmented reality. In Finland, one of the first examples that came to mind was Art Cash by the art service Art Advisor. They have site-specific projects using augmented reality. There's nothing to see on the spot, but if you use your smartphone, then you can make the work of art appear on the screen. But here's a very poor example of how social media works. I hope you won't be offended. The word monotappi here is probably a bit hard to translate. There's the word dick and plug. And this is from Saarijärvi in central Finland. I visited it this summer, and the picture is from Pokemon Go as well. The idea of the game is that you have these spots on the map that you have to visit if you wish to play the game. And this spot, it gives you these Pokeballs that you use to play further. Here, some wise guy has named this work of art Monotappi. I don't think it's supposed to be very offending. I think somebody thought that it'd be funny, but the work of art actually is by Arvo Siikamäki, the sculptures called Huutovedestä, a cry from the water. It probably would be better if it would say the name of the sculpture and the name of the artist and the work of art here, because this really doesn't do much good for either the city nor the sculptor. So this just shows that you in social media and on the web, you have to be alert. You have to check what's going on. So if your municipality has public art, you have to take care of it online also, because if you don't do it, somebody else does it for you. And then what happens is this Molotov. And this is something funny compared to the example that happened in Norway with the sculpture being removed and relocated. But it's not nice. And this is from today from the newspaper Helsingin Sanomat, showing, actually I wanted to show you this just to show you how quickly the social media works. The pop star Sámi released a new video that has her fans singing her new song. And her fans are very young, some of them. My daughter is 8 and she likes Sámi, but she has actually no idea what she's singing about. But in this case, the song is about sex and I don't know, something not that nice. It's called Vahinko, the song, so mistake. And the social media reacted. The video was released online, the social media reacted right away. There started to be critique on how can you make children sing about sex. Very many parents found it to be very offensive. And the record company had to take the video out. This wasn't the reaction they wanted. They wanted praise from the fans and people complimenting Sámi to have such nice contact with her fans. But it went so wrong, and it happened really quickly. It only took hours to happen.
But just to say that the words, because I have heard this song actually.
And there's no problem. I think there's no problem with the song actually.
Yeah.
The problem was the young kids.
Yeah, but I still thought that okay, that because now the little girls are singing to the camera like as a girls. That if you want to test me once, I know the place where we can go. I mean, like it's a kind of. I understand maybe why you are thinking like.
Yeah.
I mean, like it's still quite insane that this Sámi didn't really realize how it sounds.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's just an accident as the whole.
Yeah, it's an accident, but actually it's something that could happen with public art, because public art is public, a lot of people see it. And I think in the case of public art, somebody might misinterpret it more likely than for something like this to happen. But I just wish to point out that it can happen really quickly, and you have to be really alert to react and do something online and in the social media if something like this happens. And then, this was my point. In the social media, you have to be alert at all times. You have to check your accounts in different applications. But also, when it comes to communication strategy, I wish to ask if you really need to arrange a press conference these days. Because with social media, it's something that you can arrange yourself. It used to be so that we contact the newspapers and the media and arrange a press conference. There's the moment when you realize that nobody's coming, and you put all this effort and energy in it. But with social media, you can publish the articles and the pictures yourself. I'm not saying that it's unnecessary to have media relations these days. Maybe not. If you wish to contact, you need the whole community, for example, then the local newspaper is the best media. But if you wish to contact a global audience, then putting your energy on social media might be a better solution. And with social media, you can always experiment. You don't need to. Actually, social media is sort of challenging the whole concept of having communication strategy, where traditionally you think you have a long-term plan for doing this, sending the press material and then phoning the journalists and so on and so on. You know, for you have a weekly plan and a monthly plan and so on. But these days, you just have to be alert and check what's going on. And is there something you can react on in the positive way to get attention, positive attention, or is there something that you have to comment because somebody has is upset or so on? But why I think, to conclude, why I think visual art works very well in social media is because the first rule of social media is that it has to be real. People are so used to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram that if you try to use sweet talk in a way, people spot it and they won't be interested. But visual art is authentic, it's unique, and it's something real. And what's really interesting, I think, is this making of material. Where one great example is the videos you've made here in Ii. They are truly, I think, magnificent examples of people telling with their own words what they've worked with and showing how the artists worked. This is, of course, a no-brainer, this one. Visual art is visual, maybe with the exception of sound art. But visual social media is becoming bigger and bigger all the time. We now have Instagram, we have Snapchat. We will see new applications in the future, that's for sure. And with there's huge potential. And as we know, there are many, as we've heard with meeting artists and through our lectures and so on, very many find it very hard to write about their own work. You've done something visual, a huge project, and then you need to put it into words.
Visual artists often are visual figures.
Yes. But this makes it easy. You just post a picture and add a hashtag. And as in the case of Kusama, the pictures are there. They are there for as long as Instagram will be on. And I think social media prolongs the life cycle of temporary art. If you compare it with the traditional media and having a few articles written, maybe one news story on television, a few radio interviews, they're only there for a few minutes and a few days. But with social media, the attention is prolonged and the audience is global. You can reach anyone who uses the same app. Okay, yeah, now we wanted to hear from you, and actually in this case discussion, I think it's very interesting to also hear. I think we were all very shocked by the example from Norway, and this is something sort of similar, but then again, sort of different.
Okay, almost
2 minutes.
but
Yeah, 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, quick. How many of you have seen this statue? So, okay. It's a statue by Finnish sculptor Tommi Toija. It's called Bad Bad Boy. And it was in Helsinki in summer 2014. It was a work of art supposed to be a temporary public art statue. It was in front of the presidential palace in Helsinki. And as you can see, it is a fountain, a very funny one. And the people of Helsinki had really different kind of reactions to this statue in front of the presidential palace. Some were strongly against it, saying that it is rude against the president. And but most people, very many people, loved it and would have loved it to stay. And actually, some people in Helsinki asked the museum to keep it there, so that it wouldn't be just one summer. They were keen on it and they wanted it to stay. But then the museum replied that we are sorry, but the fountain would have to be switched off for the winter time, and then it would lose its artistical value for being just a statue without the fountain. But what happened is that the audience reaction was so strong and the discussion was so active that a store in Helsinki, a technology store called rented the statue from the artist. And nowadays you can see it in Ruoholahti in Helsinki, in another place where ferries to Tallinn and from Tallinn come from Tallinn. So in this case, I think what is interesting is that temporary public art, it can become very dear for citizens and people living with the public art. Although the material might not last, or there might be a really good reason why it is meant to be temporary work of art. But what is more important? Because the audience, that's often the reason why we do things for the audience, or why public institutions such as art museums do things for. If the audience loves something, but the material doesn't last, or the artist doesn't want what to do, what is the value we give to audience's reaction? So we wanted to leave this as an open discussion, but we have maybe half a minute.
Yeah, I keep a tight leash on the speakers.
I'd like to ask you, if you think that in Norway, is there potential that the inhabitants or the community might wish to return the statue back to the forest and put pressure on the school and the municipality? Do you think that could happen?
It is a possibility, but I won't answer for the village.
Of course. But at least we are very shocked and
But the audience might like see some works of art that would last. Or if temporary public art becomes very dear, it can be a bit hard decision to remove it after that. This one certainly got a lot of reactions.
Yeah. And it's always nice to hear that there's some private or company money involved.
yeah.
Large scale artworks.
But at the same time, well, is it as good as it was? I think it was a site specific in that place. So there's no water in front of the new place. So it is just in the ground. So
It has taken a little bit away from that. Quite a lot.
the photo is strategically. But thank you both.
you.
I think we could continue the discussion. So now it's time for coffee, and this time we're going to drink coffee at the sauna house by the river.
Yes.
So please grab your coats, or then we'll return here after coffee in 15 minutes. Or in half an hour, sorry, or 3:30. So because one of the signs
enemmänkin, koska meillä on niitä iso harrastus, me voidaan lähettää sen missä on näitä ihan ilmaiseksi. Niin kauan parhaan
funny statue and some people like, oh, it's fun, we want to keep it.
But it's no water in it. No.
No, and it wasn't stitched when I last saw it. There's water. Yeah, but it's not that kind of water. It's like a pasta without. But I mean, it's. I think it's
starting to.
It's done in first year, so it's something like a good job.
Temporary.
So
it's
yeah,
it's not even the people love it. My kids love it very.
Flavor too. One evening when I passed by this statue when it's got original lights, I saw, it was a Friday night, I saw a bunch of teenagers taking photos.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, teenagers are sitting
very unusual skin. That's because I don't know if he's told it publicly from several places. He's unfortunately rarely seen. His skin is looking really weird, and that's something that people don't. It's funny, of course it is funny, but in the same sense, it's really tragic. And that's something that people don't realize. It's not easy.
Yeah, it's cotton.
Yeah,
What's happened next?
Yeah, exactly.
President carries
President is
Hei. Mun piti vahvistaa koneen kanssa. Mattiakin ja työn edelleen. Hän on också med.
Ja, det är målet. Känns bekvämt.
Ja.
Men vi ska ha en samma tid tillbaka.
Ja, okej. Hoppas det ska bli så fin dag. Jag kommer in och så vackert.
Jag är rädd att sommaren för sig för oss.
Nej, men det var sommar i Tromsö. Det var igår. Ja.
Sulla on pikavisiitti Iissä.
No on, mutta...
Viideltä tulee taksi hakemaan Ouluun.
Ai jaa, just.
Teidät kaikki luennoitsijat oikeastaan.
Niin justiin.
Niin, kyllä.
Se oli hyvä kysyä taksimiehelle oltiin etuajassa siellä, kun kone oli melkein kuultu tiepuolella.
No joo, kun kato maanantaina oli tullut tuntia aikaisemmin kone ja se soitti näyttää sitten Helsingissä Kalaverissa, soittanut paniikissa, että se on tosi hyvin toiminut mennyt se historia, että yksi kaksi viimeisen yhden unohtunut lauantai-iltana niin kentälle ja vaikka mitään. Se soitti meidän paniikista, ei vitsi kone tuntia aikaisemmin.
Niin, se on. Ei kukaan niin semmoista odota.
Joo, kun se ei kalastelun luulla, se on tullut suoraan. Niin nyt se oli sen takia varmaan hyvissä ajoin, että jos on tällainen tapahtunut, niin se on kuitenkin aivan kiireinen, että puheenvuoro 15 vuotta.
Joo. Se oli mahtavaa, kun myös siinä mietin, että mitä nyt teen, että pitääkö musta aina kuten aina taksia. Nyt sitten kun minä kävelin sinne, se oli hauskaa, mä olin niin ainoa ihminen siellä tuloalussa, kun kaikki muut jättää laukkua. Ja sitten se oli niin ainoa toinen niin. Mä ajattelin, että se oli semmoinen pieni kylkeistä. Kyllä, se oli niin.
Joo, ne on tosi hyvin hoidettu.
Joo.
Se firma on ihan superhyvin kaikki.
Joo.
Kaikki toimii ihan mahtavasti.
Laitas vielä keikkaasti, nyt tuun perästä sinne kahviin.
Joo.
Joo, minä katson laittaa sen talteen tänne näin. Heti ajattelet lähteä edestä.
Mitä olla?
Pitää olla. Koskaan mukana, niin pitää ne viedä jotenkin pois.
Tai se on vähän semmoinen sanaton-sopimus, että bateria saa ekstra pakkeeksi, että on kaikki kuulat ja adapterit ja musta se on vähän miettiä. Ettekö kuulta? Tämä on normaalia suuressa maailmassa, missä Venetsin kanssa pyöritään.
Kyllä, sieltä lähinnä eri evoluutiohjelman-alueessa ratkaisuja sitä. Oi. Milla terveisiä. He ovat todesti, jos minä olen Matin kanssa puhunut.
Ai saa.
Se houkutteli Helsinkiin.
No niin.
Otas sen mukaan, kun on Helsingille töihin.
Ai saa.
Minä sanottiin sinne Romsaan.
No niin.
Seuraava kyllä.
Joo. Kertaa.
Miten sun otat nämä masterit?
Ei ole alkaa.
Tää nyt puhutaan. Ymmärtävää kuitenkin, että se
Joo, eikö siellä ekalla viikolla tapahdu mitään?